in the house.
Yes, welcome to the family room. Today is Friday, and we are looking forward to spending time with our Facebook friends.
Absolutely.
One thing you can do for us is to make sure you share and invite people to the thread today as we prepare to talk about a topic that was near and dear to our heart, and we talked about it last week. But there's a reason why we are focused on this topic. You want to let them know that?
The reason, and one of these days I'm gonna find that drum roll. I
Are
know
you?
it's out there. I just got to find it and buy it. But today is the official release of my newest book. It's called Money Before Marriage, and we're very, very excited about it. You'll see a little image of it over there in the corner, and we're very excited about it. I think that this book is. I got to tell you, I don't know. I think I've done maybe 7 books or so.
Okay.
This is the one that I'm the most excited about of any book we've ever done before.
And why is that? And good afternoon, everyone. We had a little delay start because the tornado siren was going off near our home. So
and it was going on for a long time. Too,
we wanted to wait before we did that. So you're talking about your new book,
yeah,
Money Before Marriage, and you're just explaining to everyone why it is near and dear to your heart.
Well, one of the reasons why I'm really passionate about it is it's been something I've been passionate about for many years, but I also believe that we've kind of built our marriage on these principles.
I agree.
I totally believe that, and my wife's stewardship is off the chart now, and we. My point is that we've grown in this, and I really think that beyond relationship with God, our ability to agree in the area of finances have been the foundation for our marriage.
It's helped us a lot in so many different areas. And now that we in ministry together, we're in business, which you say even together, we still have to discuss many of our decisions that we make. And as Pastor said last week, someone asked a question about multiple streams. He and I, we believe in multiple streams, and we've discussed different ways to invest our money over years to help our money make money.
Exactly. I mean, we've been investing outside of ministry. Maybe we've been married 25 years. I would say, man, after about 4 years or so, we jumped in it, didn't we?
Right. We started doing different things. Yeah, we did. Yeah. We really did.
And those things are paying off now in terms of they help us to be able to sustain the lifestyle that we're trying to give our kids, but even more important, the building a financial future. Someone said a long time ago that you're going to have to live in your future, so you might as well have a future that you prepared for. And so we're really excited about talking about the book. But today I'm equally as excited about talking about these principles that we just started sharing last week. Tell them how many principles we got through last week.
We did about 2. You said 1, but we did about 2 principles.
We got about 2 principles. Maybe we got 2 in, but the thing of it is that we loved it because you guys were so engaging and you had so many questions. The other reason why I have such a conviction about this book and about this whole subject is because of the fact that we're in the middle of a pandemic. And I said to a friend of mine when this whole thing started at the beginning of the pandemic, I don't think we were a week in, I looked at a friend of mine and I said to him, if there's ever a time that people's hearts ought to be open to stewardship teaching, that time should be right now.
Absolutely. So good afternoon. Welcome to the family room. My name is Alicia Ramsey. My husband, Pastor Jonathan Ramsey Sr. If you are out of town, make sure you put it in the thread where you are watching us from, because we are blessed to be able to share not only here in Indianapolis, Indiana, but throughout the country. So if you're watching us from another state, another city, or even another country, put it in the thread so we can welcome you today to the family room. New Life family, it is so good to see all of you. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Dee Dee. Hi, Mr. Wright. They are all switching to virtual learning. Hi, Sister Connie. Hi, Coco. Good to see you, Nicole, Jatana.
Wow, everybody's in the house.
It is a blessing to be able to connect.
Is Jatana in the house?
She's right there at the top.
Okay, I'll see you, Jatana.
Yeah, it is such a blessing to be able to meet. Hi, Stacy. Wonderful, wonderful to see all of you today.
Yeah, and so you want to just jump in it, or what do you think?
Yeah.
I do have some announcements.
What announcements?
I was supposed to be talking about this. Tamika gave me my marching orders.
Okay, well, sit your phone down so you can focus.
Okay, so here's the marching orders.
And wait a minute, I asked him to sit his phone down, but you guys share. Don't put your phone down. I share once. I usually share about 3 times throughout this process. So
she's giving me my marching orders, so I got to make sure I remember to do that. But number 1 is thank you all, because I know in advance that you guys are going to support the book project incredibly.
Right.
And we're excited about that, because what that does is obviously, there's so much of that goes right back into the kingdom, but also it positions us to be able to write other books that God puts upon our heart as time goes forward. And First Lady and I are just kind of in talks about some things now. and I think it's going to be really exciting. So make sure that you share. Also, know that today you can get the book on Amazon. Go right to Amazon, put the search in there, and put my name in there. You'll see a couple of books pop up, and you can buy the book today. You can also buy it on Kindle, and tomorrow is going to be our Thanksgiving outreach, and we're all excited about that because we've set an amazing goal.
Yeah, so today is your release date of your new book.
Yes.
Where's your copy of it? Do you have it with you? So they can see what it looks like. I know that you got your little cute icon on there. I'm not mad at you.
I thought my little icon
Your
might be enough.
icon is amazing, but for some of us that is kind of small, but at least you don't have it sitting on top of my head like you usually do.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
wonderful. And tell them a little bit about the forward. Who did your forward for the book?
Bishop Joseph Warren Walker III wrote the forward to the book. It's on the front page, right up at the top. And I thought that was awesome when I saw how they laid that out and did that. But he says in his quote, it says, "This is a must read for any couple seriously considering marriage."
Mm-hmm.
And what he also went on, as he and I kind of referenced this a little bit, that even those that are married, it's going to be an incredible book for as well. So you can get the book today on Amazon.com. You can get the book on Kindle. You can come out to our outreach tomorrow from 10 to 12 at our Central Campus. We're going to be doing some signing of books, but we're going to do it from social distance, so we won't be able to be very close to everyone, but you'll be able to get a signed copy if you want tomorrow.
And we'll be outside, not inside, because even our outreach is outside to make sure that we follow the guidelines.
It's just safer. And then and you know, Tamika, she thinks of everything. She told me to tell you guys, the book is $20 a piece. You can use your credit card or your debit cards. We'll be able to receive those. If you use cash, they're asking that you use the exact amount, so there's not a whole lot of exchanging and things like that. Just trying to make sure everybody's safe.
Definitely wear your mask, and we look forward to seeing some of you in person on tomorrow afternoon. So today's message, today's time of discussion, and we say time of discussion because at any time you can put a question in the thread, you can put a comment in the thread, and we'll do our best to make sure we address it.
Okay.
So
Amen.
Pastor, look what you did.
What I do?
The seed. Look, I had all of this. I had the whole background straight, so this part right there was not in the picture.
The book?
No.
Oh, the feed.
No, look right here. Look at all of that. And see,
Lord.
I had it all set, and then
I didn't move it.
Yes, you did.
When did I move it?
Yeah, because it was just like this.
See, you know what? When these cameras go off, it was like
I'm
this.
just saying, yes, babe, because that was you asked me to check the picture, and I checked the picture, and it was just like this.
We're gonna finish this argument after the family room. And
like,
then next week's subject, it'll be how to fight right. That'll be
Is
next
that
week's
what
subject.
it'll be? There's a right and a wrong way to argue. We say that all the time. And for
How to
25
fight right.
years, man.
Yeah.
And then we be tired. I be
So
tired.
you like the backdrop?
Well, you asked me. Here's the deal.
No, I know.
Family
I
room
know what I
friends,
asked you. I
because
know
you
what I
asked me to check it. So I came and I checked it, and then I just looked and I was like, "You moved it again, did you not?"
Huh?
Okay, that means
remember.
he did.
I don't recall.
That means he did.
I don't recall making any
That means
adjustments
he
to the
did.
computer.
That means he did.
But anyways, we're talking about get your money straight today, and the Proverbs that we gave is Proverbs 6 and verse number 6. It says, "Go to the ant, you sluggard, and observe her ways, and be wise, which having no chief, officer, or ruler, prepares her food in the summer and gathers her provision in the harvest." And that's really just the kickoff verse of what we've been talking about in this discussion.
Okay.
Because I think it's mind blowing when you read that scripture, because you really could kind of boil it down to say this, that when it comes to the area of stewardship and being prepared, that God is showing us that even an insect has the wherewithal and the insight, or whatever you want to call it, to be willing to prepare for the times when the winter comes and resources are hard to come by. And so, so much of the Bible really deals with stewardship, from Genesis to Revelation. And so we're going to deal with some strategies today, because we believe that there are some strategies out there that help you really, if your finances are out of control, guess what? You're one of many. But we're going to give you some things to help you harness that, come up with a plan, and be able to move that plan forward and get stable in that area. Because would you take a minute and talk about what you've seen in ministry, bad stewardship due to families and singles and individuals, in terms of the pressure and everything it brings?
I think the biggest thing that I have seen over the years is people are reactive instead of proactive.
Yeah.
They know, the Bible even tells us in James 1, you're going to have tests and trials, you're going to have tribulations. And a lot of times those come in the form of your finances being tested. Um, you have to be prepared when the refrigerator stops working and your car stops working.
Right.
You have to be prepared when the school sends you a bill for your child for $200 and then you find out that the furnace needs to be, serviced.
Yeah.
That's a part of everyday life. And it is just amazing to me that some people will not save a dime.
They really won't.
They will not save a dime.
I gave a statistic that really kind of shocked a couple of people last week. And but I got it from Dave Ramsey's website, and they said that approximately 70 to 75, right around the range of 75% of people live from paycheck to paycheck. And what we're learning from our society and money behaviors that people have is that it's possible to live from paycheck to paycheck regardless of the size of the check. Because when it comes to money management, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. That's really important. And I really think that
what you make is what you keep. Give yourself a hand clap for that.
Let me get a hand clap over here. Let me say this to believers, that every need shouldn't automatically begin to require you to pray
or fast
and all that. If my muffler falls off my car, because we have a strategy and we have some things set for emergencies, I really don't need to pray about it. I just go get a new muffler. And it's a tremendous pressure that comes off of you when you can position yourself like that. And it's not about having millions of dollars in the bank. We don't have that. But it's about being prepared for what life can throw at you.
And it's such a big difference between a need and greed.
Absolutely.
And you share that with us all the time. So Pastor Ramsey is going to be going through principles today to re-emphasize his book, Money Before Marriage. Even if you are married, this is good for you. If you no longer desire to be married, this book is good for you.
Yes.
So make sure you do your best to write down some of the principles, go back and watch it later, share, invite somebody, especially if you know a young couple or somebody that is engaged to be married. Those first 3 to 5 years of marriage are hard.
Yeah, they are.
And a lot of it has to do with things like this. After you come off of the big celebration and the wedding and the honeymoon, or, during COVID, you may not been able to take a honeymoon, but after you come up all the hoopla, then real life sets in.
Exactly.
You have your first child together, or your blended family, now you're starting to get in the flow of things. And this is what's important to understand.
Exactly. So last week we kicked it off by saying the number one thing that we need, one of the many things that we need to develop financial stability, is a budget. And Dave Ramsey says it this way. He says that a budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where your money went.
That's good.
So when you have a budget, you're giving every dollar an assignment. I recommended several things last week. One of the things I recommend was Dave Ramsey has an app called Every Dollar. I think every person should download that thing. They have a free version and then a paid version, and you can work out whatever's best for you. But what I love about it is that it takes all the work out of a budget for you. All you got to do is drop the numbers in the categories that they've created, and then it's going to show you at the end whether you're finishing every month in the red or whether you're in the black. Yeah. And once you see that you're in the red or you don't like where the numbers fall at the end, you can go back and make adjustments. When you make one adjustment, it automatically corrects everything else. So they really take the work out of having a budget. And you can go and download that at your app store. So that's Every Dollar. Mint.com is another incredible resources. And what I like about that is that Mint is free. And you can pull any account you have with anything, your retirements, everything, all into one place and be able to look at it and work on your finances from there. You do need to make sure that you have discipline because it's free. They have a lot of advertisement in it, right. And they'll offer you this new credit card for 0% if you have good a credit rating and all of that. But you don't want to respond to all of that. You just want to use the product.
All right, I put that in the thread. Now, what's number 2?
Excellent. Is focus on the 4 things that you must have to survive.
And what are those 4 things?
If you got to lean some things out, focus on what you got to have. And so, number 1 is food. Number 2 is utilities. Number 3, a place to live. And number 4, transportation. You got to focus. These are the foundations that every human being needs to exist. Number 1 is food. Number 2 is utilities. Number 3, a place to live. And number 4, transportation.
And talk a little bit about that, because I know, people who have survived without transportation.
Yeah.
They go to work every day, especially if you live in a big city, and you can take public transportation. Sometimes you have to do that.
You know what, babe? That's an important point, because if you got to sacrifice something, you have to look at what you can sacrifice.
Yes.
Maybe you live close enough to your job that you can catch a bus or whatever the case might be, or maybe you don't live close to your job, but you can still catch a bus. And right now might be a time to take that car and to maybe get rid of that payment if you have a payment, and then be able to save up and get ready for the next time around. So I think when it comes to this whole thing on money management, the first things you have to do is you have to consider, what am I willing to sacrifice to become stable financially?
Yeah, that's one thing that our son picked up well from you, is that even when he moved off campus, he would still walk.
Mm-hmm.
You don't leave his car at home. And then he's doing his student teaching on the south side of town. So he's so funny. He was like, man, Mom, that's a drive. And I was like, dude, I did that for 15 years. But still, in his mind, he's like, no, I want to move closer to my job.
Mm-hmm.
He just thinks that way about, the gas money and the wear and tear on his vehicle.
He don't want to drop that money for that gas.
He don't want to drop that money for that gas.
So that's his deal. We got him figured out.
So we did number 1, we did number 2, now number 3.
If you're behind, if you fall behind on your bills, you have to communicate with your creditors.
Yes.
You can't pray about, you can pray about it and all that type of thing, but they don't want your prayer, they want a check.
Right.
So you remember when growing up, and we would see this in family, different family members, especially just in our culture.
I know what you're going to say.
They line and talk, got their kids picking up the phone and line, say, tell them I ain't home. Because it's a bill collector. And you sitting right there. So you are graphically and with conviction teaching your child to avoid responsibility and to lie when things get tough.
So tell me, why is it people don't graduate from that?
Because I think that sometimes people are so stuck in doing the same thing that it really takes something significant to break that pattern. And you got to be willing to do that. You call your creditors. Let me tell you what happens when you call your creditors. If it's the gas company, if it's the light company.
We do that at church. Our business manager, if something doesn't look right, or we don't understand something, or we get this astronomical bill off of a gas leak,
exactly.
We don't always just drop a boatload of money. We're like, okay, you seeing this like this because of gas leak we didn't know about? What's your payment plan?
Exactly.
And that's not saying we don't have the money, but it is being, wise stewardship to say, okay, we'll make payments on this.
But because we've also followed up on things, we've also caught a lot of creditors being in the wrong. And we've seen bills that they said for the church, because if you could imagine your gas bill, just try to imagine ours.
Just imagine ours.
So let's say the bill was $5,000, but it was something that was on their end, and it actually should have been $2,000. So even when you have money, and even when you are stable financially, you have to police your money, or you'll never be able to maintain it.
You have to police your money, or you will never be able to maintain it.
Amen. And then think about this. When you came out of education to come on staff, and you were asking me about your retirement and everything, and you said, well, what are we going to do? I said, we're going to move the money. And my theory is, every time you move, if you move jobs, move your money, move your retirement to a place where you can control that, whether it be an IRA at your bank, or whether it be you can roll out the money that was in your previous job into the retirement of your current job. But one thing is for sure, however you choose to move, but whenever you move, you have to move your money.
How have you learned so much about finances? Like, you didn't major in marketing or accounting in school. So what is it that you've done over the years to get to this point? I
love reading about it. And I'll tell you the reason why. When I was in the storefront, and I started with that one lady in that storefront, the few people that did come through to hear me initially, I was just as broke as anybody that was in there. But God told me back then to start dealing with the subject of stewardship. All of us were in the same boat. And but I started in college reading on it, and then I began implementing it as soon as I got out of college. But I just always had a passion for it. I read money magazines and things like that. And some of you are probably saying, well, yeah, you can read that because you're more stable now or whatever. Listen, I was reading that stuff for years broke. But I knew that one day I didn't plan on staying that way. So when I got to a place that we had revenue coming in, I wanted to know what to do with it.
Good. And we will continue to recommend some different books after you read Pastor's book.
Yes.
Some books on maximizing your stewardship. Now, here's a question from Jatana. What do you do when people give the creditors your number to reach them? Then creditors are calling you and you did not co-sign. We've been there before. People calling us for family members and we didn't co-sign for nothing. So what do you do?
I told you my favorite feature on a cell phone is block. So I'm gonna block, but then also I would write them a letter, because when you write them a letter, there are certain laws that govern how people can call your house and how they can try to put pressure on you. It governs all of that. When you write them a letter legally, they got to leave you alone. If that's not your account, they have to leave you alone. And then if they don't, then you can report that.
So what about if people were used to be married to someone and they went through a divorce and settled everything in the divorce, and they're calling, the ex?
Yeah, they're gonna have to. They're calling the ex, but they're not your bills.
It's
right?
not your bill. So it was because in the divorce, you know how they settle all of that in the divorce.
I would do everything that I just previously said, but I would add a layer to that, and that is, if necessary, you may have to have your lawyer reach out to them to let them know this is the decree, and here are the responsibilities. You need to leave this person alone. You cannot call their house. So there's a lot of different ways that you can come at that. Now, that way right there is a little bit more aggressive, but I think that if you communicate with them, I think you can get that to bag up pretty quickly. And if you don't, then you go to that next level.
All right, awesome. So we're talking about Money Before Marriage, Pastor Ramsey's new book, which is available now on Amazon.com. We also have a book signing that's going to take place this Saturday from 10 to 12 at our central location outside, COVID friendly. So if you want to learn more about finances or know someone that wants to learn more about finances, make sure you get this book. It is just $20. So we have done 3 different principles to help coincide with the book. What are some chapters that are in the book?
Well, the chapters are the following in the book. We cover good stewardship. Just what is it from a scriptural standpoint? Number 2, get your money straight. Next chapter is money, marriage, and financial stability. The next chapter is dealing with debt. The next chapter is rapid debt reduction. I love that, because that's where we show you strategies, how you can quickly pay things down and move to the next debt. And Dave Ramsey, they call it a snowball type effect, but there are a lot of different principles on the same subject. Building a financial future, maintaining financial freedom. And then the last chapter is on financial freedom. In other words, you sacrifice now so you can live a certain way later on.
That's good. You sacrifice now so you can live a certain way later on.
I told our son a long time ago, you talk about me talking to Johnny and really training him in this area when he was very, very young. And one of the things I told to him, I told him very early on, I said, John, I said, son, you may not remember this, but hopefully it'll stick. I said, but I want to say this to you now, because you're going to see how money works, okay, as you grow up. And I said, when you're broke, people give you your options. When you're blessed, you choose your options.
Did you hear that?
And you got to decide whether you want to live your life with people giving you your options or with you choosing your options.
Give yourself a hand clap on that one. All
right over here, right over here, right over here.
And that's the way we always have worked with him, and we're going to work with our baby girl, the same way. Jeremiah has exceptional needs, so we have planned for his future. We've met with a special needs attorney. He has a trust set. All of his paperwork is done for him to receive his benefits. So we have everything in order so that, if something were to happen to my husband and I, that he would be well taken care of.
Yeah.
And that is the important, sometimes when people think about, money, they don't think about benefits are part of your package.
Exactly.
Having the right health insurance, understanding the importance of, your deductibles and how to, there's so many people, they can't even go get their teeth fixed because they don't have the money to meet their deductible.
Exactly. But you mentioned something key about Jeremiah. We've done all the research on that. One thing you also have to be willing to do is spend some money to get stable.
Yes.
Because the special needs attorney is not cheap. But I'm so glad that we went to her, because we had already gone to our other law firm. They laid everything out nice.
That was
And
our will. He's
that was
talking
our
about they
will.
laid out our will. But
And
then we still, even after getting the will done, we had to do this part.
yeah, well, what happened is we got a will and a trust with the attorneys, and they did a great job. It was our third and last time doing it because our kids are older, so we can make different decisions. And then we had a special need attorney look over what they put together for us, and she said, "This is an outstanding will and trust." And she said, "But it's the wrong type of trust for Jeremiah."
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we found out that there are different types of special need trusts.
Right.
So we paid her firm, and they put together the right special need trust to put in there. And so basically, what would happen is that if something happened to both of us, everything is liquidated and broken into a thirds. But what's awesome about Jeremiah's trust is that she designed a certain type of trust that when his inheritance hits the account, it would not affect his regular services. Yeah. And so knowing this stuff and doing all this stuff really develops, it takes a lot of time,
it does,
a lot of reading, and it also takes you being willing to sacrifice a little so that you can build stability for the long term.
Absolutely. And that's what it's about, building stability. So what is number 4?
Number 4 is sell what you don't need.
You hear that?
There's
the garage sales are still, in existence.
I know over here they have some serious
sales. They still, I know it's different with COVID, but it's still important. People go on eBay, they sell things that way. There's different safe apps that you can use in order to, sell items that you don't need. They actually say that if you haven't worn something in, a year or two, you should give it away.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing about it is that you just have to keep in mind, because somebody's probably rolling their eyes at me right now or at us right now. But you know what? The reality is we were willing to do what maybe that person rolling their eyes won't do. Mm-hmm. We were willing to say, okay, you know what? I don't need this. Now, we blessed a lot of people throughout the course of our life.
Yeah, we usually don't sell things.
We don't sell things. We give them. And whether it's suits or whatever. But the point of the matter is stop acting like you don't have any strategies. What's that?
He used to give away stuff he wasn't supposed to give away.
Yeah, I give away too much stuff.
So then we would get ready to go out of town. And I'd be like, well, where are all your shorts? Where are all your, I know you have these things. I bought those things for you.
All that kind
where are your sweatsuits? And not only would I buy them sweatsuits, I buy them the shoes to match the sweatsuits. And then I'm going, where's your stuff?
Mm-hmm. You know, my answer was, huh? That means in 25 years of marriage, I don't want to answer that question because it might incriminate me.
I you just give all your stuff away.
I do.
And he'd be like, well, babe, I don't have nothing to wear. And I'm like,
but you know what, though? I remember I was talking to somebody about this the other day.
Yeah.
And I try not to take up too much time here, but my father was never a preacher or anything like that. But I remember he would give people the shirt off of his back, literally.
Yeah.
He didn't have but a couple of suits in his little closet back there. He had a couple of nice shirts and some slacks, but he was in, janitorial type stuff most of the time because he was always, working, and that's what he did. But I remember several times where he would go over and once he got free from that alcohol, he would go over and get one of the guys maybe that he used to drink with, and the guy might be sloppy drunk. He'd bring him all the way out there to our house, bring him in the house, and set him down at the table, fix him some food, and you could smell the alcohol on the person. Fix him some food. He would go back to his closets and get a couple of shirts, come back out and give it to him. And then he would put them in his car after he fed them and took them back. Yeah. And so, giving is I just think it's the only way to live.
Yeah. My dad had a couple of suits too. He didn't give them away. They were stolen.
For real?
From the corner. There was a boarding house on the corner where the drug addicts were. Because at that time, remember, this was right before crack. It was heroin and drug addicts. And so we went to a family reunion. Our house was broken into. We come back. They found some of our little lamps in the ditch, and then they found Charlie. His name was Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown was walking down the street in my daddy's suit. And we're like, "It's my daddy's suit." Yeah, just them.
That's unbelievable. But see, that's why you need renter's insurance.
Yeah, hood stories.
That's why you need renter's insurance if you have.
But we own that. We own that home.
Well, then that's why you need. Y'all had insurance, so I ain't gonna get it.
But then back then in the hood, back in the day.
Yeah, I know. We're just trying to modernize our hood experience.
So then we put that chicken wire stuff on the windows and got double locks and all of that. Yes, that's the best we could do. We ain't had no alarm system.
Yeah, our alarm system was my father.
Or you know how people had dogs?
Yeah.
Everybody in the hood had a
Y'all didn't
German.
have one?
No, We had 4 kids. We didn't have no dogs. So everybody had a German Shepherd, a Rottweiler, or a pet pool. Those were the alarm systems.
And that was the alarm system. I understand.
Sure was. So we get where, we've had humble beginnings, Pastor and I both. So we truly appreciate where God has brought us today and what we have the opportunity to do and to share with you how to implement the same principles. So you did, 1 through 4.
My father was our security assistant.
Because of what? I know what you're going to say.
Because he believed in Tyler Perry, to quote Tyler Perry in one of his movies, Jesus said, piece of steel.
That's Madea.
Madea, that's it. She's supposed to be saying, peace be still.
Uh-huh.
Madea said, piece of steel.
Oh,
so my father believed in piece of steel.
That's Judah and you. Like, y'all be cracking up like you ain't never heard it before. Yeah. Did you do number 5? No. You didn't
get a temporary job or a side hustle. A lot of people are doing that right now. Mm-hmm. You can, think about it. People can't go into the stores, but yet they still have needs. Amazon is hiring everybody every day. It seems like they're hiring 1 million people.
Yes.
There are things that you can do. And let me just slip this in here while we're talking about this. Mm-hmm. And I want you to kind of touch base on this. It's very difficult to be arrogant as if I'm too good to do certain things to get to a certain place, as long as the job is legal and moral. And how many times have we heard, well, I ain't turning no hamburgers up. Listen, girl, you better get up behind that counter and give me a double and put some cheese on it, and it better be melted. You know what I mean? You got to be willing to sacrifice some. So
summer jobs, like, I love it. Like, one thing about people at our church, they will get their hustle on.
Yeah.
I'll go to, this is the problem I know with a lot of people at our church. They work too many jobs. Yes. So here I go to Kohl's, like, you working at Kohl's too? They're like, I need that. So, I want that holiday money. They will go to Amazon and get that Christmas money. And
did you hear that? I'm not going to call any names, but did you hear that? Some of the members worked too many jobs.
They got a full-time job, and they'll work down at the, Bankers Life. They'll work at the Colt Stadium. They will work at Target for the summer, or they'll work there for, the holiday season. So for the ones that don't, or if you got, this is what I don't understand.
But see,
help me.
But let's hit this. I just want to make sure I don't forget this. And let's talk about this real quick. Mm-hmm. What I love about some of those members that work too many jobs is that many of them don't have to. But they're doing that because that's the summer vacation they're going to take the family on a cruise.
That's why they do it.
You see what I'm saying?
That's why they do it. What I was going to share is that I have a problem with these teenagers that they're not in any sports.
Yeah.
They're not doing anything, and the parents won't let them work a job.
To me, I don't have a problem with that kid. I got a problem with that parent because what that parent doesn't realize that you're crippling them by giving them no responsibility. You can't go to college with them and make their bed every morning.
Right.
You can't drive them around
campus. Go to the military
campus.
or go to trade school with them.
You can't go to basic training with them and all those types of things. So parents that over compensate their kids, what they don't realize is that you're raising a potential future adult that will live their entire life dependent upon other people because you didn't force them to learn independence.
Yeah, I come from a family of workers. I started working at 14. My grandfather got me summer jobs until then I turned 16. Then I was a waitress. $2 an hour plus tips.
Yeah.
But I did not want to miss work. I bought my own clothes, put gas in my own car. Like, that work ethic came from starting somewhere. And then in college, I had to work the whole time I was in college.
Yeah.
And that's the thing where, sometimes people will say, well, they don't want to work. It's not an option. It's not an option.
It's not an option. And I can't wait till one of the upcoming weeks we get a chance to talk about retirement a little bit because retirement is not an age, it's a number.
Yes.
And I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, well, I'm going to retire next year. Really? Do the math. Sit down with an expert that can help you do the math.
Right. And so people know, Johnny was involved in 2 sports and we would let him pick up a job in the summer. And especially when he went to college, he would work summer jobs because that was important. You're going to work, even though you're in athletics, you're going to work during the summer because you have that time.
Yeah.
And it really helped him prepare for the pace that he has today. So let's look at, here's a question from Sister Flo. Hey, Sister Flo.
What's up, Flo?
It says, what's your opinion on grown children living at home? Should they pay rent to their parents?
Here's the thing. First of all, I don't think, regardless of what their condition or the situation is, you should not allow them in the house until you've already set the parameters. And you also set an exit date. But as long as you'll be their safety net, they'll never do what they need to do. So I say that if a child has to come back, and I don't know, I mean, different children come back for different reasons. But let me just tell you this. For the record, ours ain't coming back.
And he says it all the time. He'd be like, I know I can't come back. I'll be like, son, don't say that. He'd be like, he looks at us like, nah, I know I can't come back.
And we would never have him in a bad situation. And part of the reason why he says that, because he likes his independence.
He does.
He likes being able to do what he needs to do.
But what do you feel about this? I feel like they should have like a contract, have it notarized.
Oh, I was going there.
They get a copy, you get a copy. It's like there's no. That's the thing. They don't put nothing solid out there.
I've got friends that I've talked to before, and they would say, "Hey, man, yeah, my son just came back." I said, "What's the exit date?"
Thank you.
Well, we haven't. I said, "Well, then therefore they're going to be there as long as they want to." That's what you told them by allowing them to come back in with no parameters, no borders, no boundaries. They don't pay money to help with the groceries. They don't pay money to help with the rent. And so here's the thing:
with the Wi-Fi,
I have seen parents do this. That a young adult person moved back home. Maybe they're going through something, whatever the case might be. I've seen them charge them $300 for rent every month, but they were putting it in a savings account. And when the person got themselves together and they launched out and got their apartment, they may have taken that and given it to them or whatever. There's a lot of different things you can do. Now, personally, I don't think I would give the money back. But you know, there are different things that you can do. But I believe this, that if you don't set boundaries, they'll never honor your home. And they'll lay up in there until they feel like being responsible. And that might just be after you've passed away.
And you don't know, Pastor Ramsey, First Lady John, and Alicia, let us tell you, be disrespectful if you want to, or not follow our guidelines or the stewardship principles. Will we not change the locks?
In a heartbeat.
Will we not cut you off?
In a heartbeat.
If you don't know, now you know. And Judah says, I'm never leaving y'all. We like, yeah, you leaving.
Yeah, I should say, Dad, I'm going to be with y'all forever. I said, no, but it ain't going to work like that. It ain't going to work like that.
Even if you go in Ivy Tech, we're going to have to figure out something.
We got to figure out something. I don't think she's going to be going too far away.
I don't think she's going to go far.
We're going to change this pattern, boy, because girlfriend love being up under her parents. But the whole point is, for those of you that are dealing with adult children, even if you haven't set the boundaries before they moved in, you need to set them now and sit down and talk. And you need to make them honor those boundaries. And when they don't, then you need to let them know it's time for you to go. And the thing about it is, some people say, well, you know, he don't have no place. You know what? If you all of a sudden die tomorrow, I promise you they're going to find a place to sleep.
Find a place to go.
They're gonna so sometimes, I told one parent, I don't know if she got upset about it or not, because I didn't really stick around long afterwards, but I told her, I said, you keep talking to me about what your adult son that's living in your house while you pay all the bills won't do. You need to pack all of his stuff, set it on the porch. When he gets home, you get him in the car if he needs a ride, and you drop him off at Willow Mission. You will be surprised at how much motivation he'll get.
Right. And we're not talking about a season of difficulty.
Yeah.
Like your adult child or children may have a season of difficulty where they need to move back home for, 6 months. They may need to even come back home for a year, but there's a plan of action. Yeah. We're talking about this habitual cycle of dysfunction where they keep making bad decisions. You keep saving them. They keep making bad decisions. You keep saving them. That is not of God. You were sowing in the background, and it's your child.
I remember my oldest brother, he got married when he was really young. He was around 19 or so.
Yeah.
And after their 2 children, I don't know how long it was, maybe 4, 5, 6 years later, they got divorced. I remember to this day, I'm 56 years old, and I remember to this day that he had his best friend back home in Fort Wayne told him, you can come and stay here. And he slept on a lazy boy as he was trying to get the finances together to recover from the divorce and take care of his children at the same time. We're living in a time now that people don't want to sacrifice to become stable.
It's such a season. One thing I can say that I truly now I look back and I respect about my mother is there was a season when her and my dad were split up, and she wasn't working. She had 4 kids. Her family came together. One of her brothers gave her a car. My grandfather, Granddad Leo, gave her a job, and He wanted us to move into his rental property,
Hmm.
and my mom wouldn't do it.
Wow.
And now I see why. She wanted to get this done herself. Like, you
Yeah.
could tell she had that about her.
Mhm.
Like, my mom would get to work an hour before she had to. You know, she was very disciplined like that. But now I see why. That, yes, she got help with, okay, I got the car. Thanks, Dad, you gave me the job. But
Mhm.
no, I'm not going to move into the rental property. I'm going to stick this thing out. And I think even seeing Mom do it that way
Mhm.
is where I get my strength from.
I think a lot of you guys get that from,
Yeah.
from having seen that,
Yeah.
in your family, and it's just what you got to do. It's about doing what you have to do so that later on in life you can do what you want to do.
Right. You think about it. The way your mom and dad tag team, and your mom will work nights and your dad worked during the day, or they switch to take care of the kids. Like, y'all didn't grow up in daycare.
No.
Your family, they tag team to take care of the kids and to take care of the house. And it gave you that value system. Because when I look at all of you and all your siblings, all of you are amazing parents. And you
Yeah,
make your
they're good
children
parents.
a priority. Every single one of you and your siblings, your children are a priority.
Yeah.
And I know that's, the way you were raised.
It's amazing, and I do believe that kids pick up on a lot.
Yes.
Not of what you say, but what they see.
Say that again, Pastor Ramsey.
Because you got a lot of people that want to preach to their children, but you don't want to model what your children need to be when they grow up. And so you gotta look at that. They hear what you say, but they watch what you do, and what you do is what they're going to repeat when they get out there.
Right. People like to say, "Do as I say and not as I do," and that is not the principle. You have to model the way for your children. You have to model the way for your employees. If you are a supervisor and you're always calling in work and you're not completing your projects, but yet you expect your employees to follow, and do the right thing, it's not going to happen that way.
Or your children see you not paying a bill that needs to be paid, but you just put them in the car and y'all going to the mall. You're teaching them that this is the mentality that you go into life with.
Absolutely. And you teach them how to find the best deal. This is the thing that I realized that I had to do with Judah is she'll bring me something. Mom, can I have this? The first thing I say, how much is it? I don't know. You need to find out how much it is. Is it on sale? So I would go back and I would teach her those things on how to do that. Hold on. This is for the kids.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You handle that. Yeah, and so in order to get stable financially, we gotta be willing to make sacrifices, and that's the big question that you're gonna have to ask yourself: what sacrifices am I willing to make? The number 6 that we were gonna come to is this, and it's look for things that you can cut, things that you can cut, things that you can reduce. If the kids are at home for at-home learning, e-learning, does everybody need a cell phone? Do we need 5 cell phones? Just looking for those things as it relates to your family and your particular situation to see, hey, what can I cut? What can I cut back on? Maybe we can get rid of this cable bill that's $250 a month, and let's get Hulu that's 50 something a month. But you got to look at what you can cut loose. Sometimes we're getting ready to roll into Christmas, and you have children. Most parents that love their children, they're always going to try to go all out on Christmas time. But this is COVID-19. This is a different season. Many parents have lost their jobs. Many people are dealing with a lot of different challenges along those lines economically. You need to start talking to your children now. Hey, guess what, guys? We're not going to be able to have the Christmas that we normally have, but we're going to have a great time. And you get the game boards out and all those types of things, and cook a nice meal or buy a nice meal if you can't cook, and all that other stuff, and talk them through it. Because if you talk them through it, then what you're doing is you're teaching them how to train their children in the future that, hey, when things go wrong or are challenged in your house, we don't just walk around the house ignoring the obvious. But no, we tell our kids, hey, this is what we're going through right now. We got some tight things financially, so we got to make some sacrifices. We can't do what we normally do on Christmas, but we're going to have a great time. By doing that, you're putting something in them that they're learning the principle of sacrifice.
Yes, and that's the thing. Go ahead and cut off the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And the kids be like, Mom, the Wi-Fi ain't working. No, I cut it off. Why you
Exactly.
cut it off? Well, because it is $100 a month.
Right.
Who's everybody going to chip in? Who's going to chip in? You work a job, you work a part-time job.
Right.
Everybody needs to contribute to the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
If that's the case, or we don't have cable no more. Nope, we don't have cable anymore.
Absolutely. But you got to be willing to sacrifice. So look for what you can cut back on. You may not be able to get those Jordans. Sorry, Rondre. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I know y'all handle y'all business. So I know y'all cool. But the whole point is that you got to look for something to sacrifice. If you'll sacrifice now, you'll be able to enjoy life a whole lot better later on from an economic standpoint.
And if you get a system to how you do things, you know, we talked before, like I'm in charge to make sure the kids have the clothes and things they need. Jeremiah destroys his clothing. Like you'll look up, he has this nice shirt or, you know, Adidas outfit and he's chewed it up or something. So I had to get my purchases down to a science. Where can I get Adidas on sale?
Yeah.
Where can I use, you know, get my Kohl's cash? I'll strategically hold it until I can get 20% off of this and that. And, you know, they'll laugh at me at the register. It's like, wow, you got it. It's like, this is strategic. And I'll put things up because of the fact that people will go out and buy something to wear to go somewhere. And it's like, you already have stuff in your closet. Or if you knew, you know, 6 months in advance you had this event, why didn't you wait for a sale or find something to get something? And I really feel like with this time of year, people just splurge, and all of those guidelines and budget principles that they have, they don't adhere to. Like you're saying, like, oh, it's Christmas.
And they justify their overspending by saying, well, I work hard, I deserve it. And I don't believe that's true. I believe you deserve what you prepare for.
Absolutely.
And when you prepare for it, you can enjoy it a whole lot more than trying to force it to happen. But speaking of clothing that Jeremiah eats up sometimes, let me tell you what he ate last night that I didn't even have the heart to tell you.
What?
I came in his room to give him his medicines, right? And he's sitting in his bed, he's watching his iPad, and he has one of my tailor-made shirts.
No.
Yes.
How did he get it? He must have went in a closet to get the hanger.
He did it. He went in there to get the hanger and decided he would go ahead and eat one of my tailor-made shirts. I had no. When I looked at him, I just said, wow. And I just went on out. But I gave him his meds and then just went on out. So I don't know how he got in there to get them. I don't know any of that. But
because tell them how he figured out, because we have a lock on our door. He figured it out.
We call it J-proof in the house to make things safe. Because one time he got in our bathroom and grabbed some clippers and he really just messed his hair up. And so we call it J-proof. And so we put a code on there on the type of knob where you get a code on there. Jay knows that he's not going to know how to do a code. So what he does is that sometimes he'll go into the room and that smart little rascal will turn the back of the knob. So that when we walk out of the room, we shut it. We think we good.
We didn't know he
goes
knew
back
how to do
to
that.
the room. And gets what he wants.
Yeah, that's the thing. And we do. Our house is, we have to explain to people why we'll have double locks and triple lock and inside locks and key locks on certain things.
When we sell one of our homes, we break it down. Hey, the reason why you're going to see X, Y, and Z, that's us J-proofing the house.
Yeah, definitely. But we've learned to not get upset, to, you know, not get mad. And then we've had to teach, you know, even Judah, like, honey, you got to put things away. You have to lock it up.
Yeah.
Or this is something that's going to happen. So as we continue, a few more principles with money before marriage, Pastor Ramsey's new book comes out today, released on Amazon.com for $20. Jessica Cunningham says she already has the book. Minister Mary Posey says she already has the book.
Awesome. Mary, don't mess around.
Thank you so much for supporting the vision. So let's look at another principle if we're talking about money before marriage or just dealing with money in general.
Well, principle number 7 was talk to your children. We kind of covered it a little bit.
Yes.
Talk to your children about this, about money, while they're growing up, so that you can establish principles with them now. Nowadays, and you used to get on because you say, well, John, you can't just pay cash for things. I mean, I was just so old school for so long.
Yeah,
but
and
COVID,
people will be watching.
COVID has converted me because now you can scan it and go or whatever the case might be. But the point is, when it comes to your children, don't just let them see you going in stores and just running a card, because the back of their mind, they're going to say that's a magic card. And when they grow up, their mentality, all I got to do is get one of those magic cards. I can get whatever I want. So you want to explain why you do what you do.
Yeah, we would go out of town and he'd be carrying all this cash. And I'd be like, that's not safe.
I will save up for the trip.
Walking around
and
like Mayweather.
I wish to God I was rolling like him.
But it made me nervous because people watch you, and they watch when you're carrying those bags and things like that. So he does not do that anymore.
Yeah, I used to be like, listen, I saved for 6 months for this vacation. I'm going to have a little change, but it's not smart. It's not wise these days. So we had to change that. But number 7 was talk to your children about these things, about finances, about why you do what you do. Here's the reason why we buy this brand or that brand, or here's the reason why. I think that the strategy you want to take with your finances, that every time you get a check, here's the strategy. You pay God you pay yourself, and you pay your bills. Pay God, pay yourself, and pay your bills. And the reason why I say it in that form, you give God 10%, then give yourself at least 10% in the form of a savings account into your savings account, and then you work with the other 80. And the reason why that's important that you do that, even though you might say, "Well, I don't make a big salary," don't worry about that. If you're faithful over a few things, He makes you ruler over many. That's gonna increase. But pay God, pay yourself, and then pay your bills. And the reason why I say that is because after you pay your bills, it's a tough thing when you got to look at what you've accomplished the last 2 weeks over for a paycheck, and you got nothing to show for it in the bank.
Yeah, that's discouraging. So that's why you need the principles. Angela has a question. Pastor and First Lady, how can a person manage their finances better if they are on a fixed income? I am on disability and I want to manage my finances better.
That's a great question. My response to that would be how you live. Look for what you can cut. Look for what you can trim, even though you're on a fixed income. Because sometimes if we're not careful, we don't want that to become our excuse for not really just kind of buckling down on our finances and looking for where we can cut. So the principle is still true, regardless of whatever context we all are in, that if I can sacrifice something, I can build some level of stability.
Absolutely. And then you find out a lot of times, you and your family can be very spoiled at times. Your grandkids will come over, your kids will come over, they expect snacks, in the refrigerator.
Right.
Our family, goodness gracious, they got to the point where I don't want to eat that. And so here we are, I'm cooking too. I'm not doing that anymore. Well, I don't want to eat that, or I don't want to drink that. And this COVID, isolation time has really got us to understand that no. And I've had to tell, no, if you don't want to eat this, then make yourself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
That's a great point. COVID is forcing families to some degree to get back to the way it should be, which is cooking something, eating leftovers, whatever the case might be.
Right.
It's not a rite of passage. There are a lot of people say, well, I don't have enough money for this, that, and the other. And I said, but you go out to eat 7 days a week.
And you may just be spending $5, but you're still spending money.
Exactly. Make it one. And there are different apps out there. Maybe I'll get into this stuff. I'm not going to make y'all no promises, but I want to try to figure out a way how we can get some things available to you. I'll just tell you what they are and sometimes just put them on the feed, and you can look them up for yourself. But there are a lot of things out there that can help you along the way with so many different processes as it relates to budget and how you function with all of this stuff. You got to have order. When Jesus fed the 5,000, what did He say? Before increase came, He told the disciples, sit them down and strategize and put them together in groups of 50.
Right.
What that says to me is that before there can be increase, there must be order.
That's good.
And there are a lot of people that don't want to bring any order to their finances. Tithing, the principle of tithing brings order to my finances because the Bible says to give unto the Lord first, right? So if I give God my 10% first, then I got to think about what's second, what's third, and what's fourth. So the system, even of tithing, brings order to my finances.
Yeah. Before there is increase, there must be order. And I know I'm getting on my family's nerves right now because it's even with the paper towels. Why'd you take so many sheets of paper towel? The other day, Pastor was like, he gave me this look like, girl, if you don't stop. And I was like, well, why did you take all these paper towels? And you were like, well, I do this all the time. Like, well, we can't do this anymore. And it's kind of like changing a mindset. Or I'm telling you, he jones on me all the time because I'm going to tell you this right now. If Chick-fil-A gives us 6 barbecue packets and we only use 2, I'm putting the other 4 in the refrigerator. And then I put them in the baggies.
It just reminds me of hood. I can't take it.
And I put them in baggies, and the baggies is in there. And Judah was like, I want some Chick-fil-A sauce.
Like one time I wasted one, and she was like, well, why did you? I said, are you seriously talking to me about some sauce?
And then I needed soy sauce. And I was like, well, I had soy sauce packets up there. I threw those away. Dude, why you
And then she looked at me all sideways. I said, are you seriously talking to me about some sauce? Condiments from a restaurant drive-thru.
So they give me ketchup. I'm the one. It is right there in my refrigerator. I got a big old bag.
Pray for it, y'all.
Whatever you need.
Those are hood antics that I'm still trying to get it free from.
It ain't gonna happen.
We did the same thing. We did all the same thing. Remember when the ketchup get down so low, you put a little bit of water in there, you shake it up.
Yes.
We did all the hood
All
stuff.
of that.
That's why I am not doing it now.
But then we had to do that with generic ketchup. At least you had Hunt's and Heinz.
No, we didn't have Heinz early
you
on.
Didn't?
No.
Well, why you act like that now?
Huh?
Like
Because I had it all my life. Because I had it for so long. And there's certain things that's not coming in my house. I'm not eating generic stuff.
Pastor got this issue with generic stuff. I'm like, dude, what's the big deal?
And she was like, well, I can go get some of these from there. I said, listen, you bring that back in the house, the fight gonna break out. I'm just telling you right now, the fight is going down.
I don't even, so some stuff I don't even try. Because I feel like it don't make a difference. But some things know you cool with. Like if I'm making nachos, it don't matter if it's Kraft or none cheese. If it's, taco cheese, you just take the taco cheese. But I figured out some stuff you ain't going there, and I already know.
It's just not going to happen.
It's not
going to happen. Now, where we at on our time? We pretty good? Where we at?
Yes,
we're at 58?
Yes, we're at 58. Okay.
Let me just give you a couple of things real quick.
Hold on real quick. It says, can you give us prayer with closing out the session today?
Absolutely.
Of course. Definitely.
That's our honor every week.
Okay. I would stop right where you were.
Let's stop right there. We're going to pick it up next week. Next week will be part 3, Get Your Money Straight. And we're going to tell you some other things I think that are going to be really powerful and really helpful for people if you have solid resources right now. If you're in a strong position financially right now, we're going to share some things with you that you can do there as well to strengthen your financial grip.
Absolutely. So show them your book. Pastor's book is released today, Money Before Marriage. It is available on Amazon.com. You can also come to the book signing tomorrow at the central location from 10 to 12 as we do our Feed the Community right next door at our pantry. We are creating 500 boxes to feed people groceries, to give them groceries to make meals for their families for the holiday.
Absolutely. It's something that we're passionate about. We've done it for many, many years, and you guys have helped us do that. So I want to encourage you today to, after we finish this prayer, to support the ministry. I'm going to put it in the feed. I'm going to put the link in the feed so it makes it easier, more convenient for you. Once I put that in the feed in the next few minutes or so, you can click on that and go directly to a place where you can give and support the ministry. These things don't happen by osmosis. They don't happen just by themselves. They happen because somebody believes enough in what you're giving people that they will support it.
Right. And it's an easy read. So you can give it to your high school student, your college student. I know people may be doing a lot of, more reading and things at home. You have a lot of emails to catch up on. You still can read a chapter every evening before you go to bed. You can discuss it as a family on what principles you can put in place in order to better the finance. So even if you're good at it, we all can get better. I can get better.
I mean, I work on it all the time.
Yeah.
And then also, even if you don't, like she's saying about reading and your timeline and all of that, I believe that we have an audio copy coming sometime soon. You'll be able to get it on audio books and download it and play it on the way to work, on the way back home. And any way it goes, get the information. Thank you all so much. I want to thank everybody. Big thanks ahead of time, because I know how my church is. I know how this church is. I know that you guys support us tremendously. So I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. For those that want a copy that's going to be signed and coming out. And for those of you that are hitting the Amazon, please do it. Last thing I would say is that while you're hitting the Amazon, after you read it, if you like the book, please go back and give it a great review so that we can grow that and really try to make this book reach a lot of people and help people.
Yes, and we want to say again, New Life Worship Center, thank you so much for tuning in every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. and on Sundays at 9 a.m. and 12 noon. We are still virtual. Please make sure that you use wisdom during this time. We don't walk in fear, we walk in faith, but wear your mask, follow the principles and the guidelines that are set. Tomorrow, when we have our Feed the Community, it will be a drive-through for them to get their box of groceries. So it will be COVID safe. If you know someone in the Indianapolis area that has a need, please let them know. They do not have to be a member of New Life Worship Center to receive. We also have coats, like brand new kids coats that we're going to be giving out. So I'm looking forward to what God is going to do through the act of giving.
And I'm bringing out some new technology tomorrow. Y'all see that look? See what I deal with right here?
Because I don't.
No, come on now.
It's good though. That's the part I don't understand. We're fine. Like you keep adding stuff like something is wrong.
No,
So I'm like, babe, nothing.
I ain't say nothing about nothing being wrong.
I know. So why can't we just chill with what we got
Because
for
I
a
am
while?
addicted to technology, and once COVID is over, we're gonna start a ministry, and I just can't lead it because I'm not qualified to. But I'm gonna find somebody in my church that will lead this, and we're gonna have a technology addiction class, and I'm gonna stand up and say, "My name is John Ramsey, and I'm a techaholic."
Because tell him what happened Sunday. Tell him he's never done this before.
What I do Sunday?
Ever.
What I do Sunday?
It was like 4 minutes left on the clock. So you were like, oh, I'll run back upstairs. And you stayed upstairs.
There you go.
So what were you doing? Were you on YouTube? You were doing, so you
I
were
was
watching
meditating.
a video.
The Lord was talking to
doing
me.
something with your technology. You were doing
The
something.
Lord was talking to me, but he was talking
And then
to me through my technology.
Ty is the armor
My
bearer,
Ty
and
got away.
Ty's still up there too.
Ty up there just Ty be chilling.
I'm looking like, where's he at? Where's he at? But I knew it had something to do with technology.
And so I had to tell Ty, I tell some of the guys, I said, listen, man, if I'm not out by this time, you have to come get me.
Yeah, Tracy said, yeah, he's addicted. Yes. He is.
Yes.
Yes,
but I can stop anytime I want to, though. You know what they say when they,
You believe that?
And I'm not making fun of that.
I know, but do you believe that?
Do I believe that? No, absolutely not. I need major treatment. I need therapy. I need somebody to talk. I need a 24-hour talk line in case, things get bad. And she takes my technology away. And next thing you know, you find me up on the roof. Don't do it, Pastor Ramsey. Don't do it. She'll give the iPad back to you.
And I used to have to tell people at church, don't you tell him about that new watch. Don't you tell him about that new phone.
Oh, yeah.
And he done did the research anyways.
But you know what the good thing is? I never negatively affect our finances as a family.
No, you don't.
Bam, there you go. All right, y'all, we love you. Let's pray for you. And then I'm going to put the link in the feed. Please support the ministry today so that we can do what God's called us to do.
And specifically pray over people and their finances.
Absolutely. That's where I'm going.
And there are a lot of people that really want to do better. They want to do better.
I believe that. Let's pray. Father, in Jesus' name, all of us have been there. Many of us have been there many times. I know I have. Yes, where life was just difficult, where finances were just challenging, where life was such that you almost didn't know where to start.
Yes, God.
And I pray over that person today, God, because we've all been there, and many of us many, many times. I pray that you would not allow them to give up on the fact that they can still make changes now that will improve their life for later. I pray that you would encourage them and open up doors for them. I pray that you would also give them discipline with what they have right now to look for what can be eliminated so that things can become more and more stable. We believe you, God, for increase, but we also know that as believers, we can't just sit back naming it, claiming it, and framing it. We also have to be implementing principles of being faithful over a few things so that you can make us ruler over many things. So, God, I pray that spirit of hopelessness away, God, as it relates to financial challenges, God. And I pray that you would encourage, strengthen, and I pray that you would also bring strategy and wisdom so that they can build a solid foundation for their future. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
And amen.
Thank you for tuning into the Family Room. Pastor John F. Ramsey Sr., myself, First Lady Alicia Ramsey. It was a blessing to have a discussion with you today. So God bless you. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Oh, the most important announcement. Most important. I mean, this is more important than everything right here. I am only 57 subscribers on my YouTube page away from 1,000. That is extremely important. For those of you folks out there that want to go to heaven, you better go over to that YouTube. I'm playing. But I do need you to go over there, though, and hit that subscribe button. It's all going to be good. We're going to be uploading a lot of stuff. You'll get some action tomorrow from what we're going to do tomorrow on the YouTube page as well. So go subscribe. Tell all your friends to subscribe. If you don't have any friends, find some and then tell them. And then call the people that don't like you and tell them, listen, I know you don't like me, but you need to subscribe to Pastor Ramsey's YouTube page. All right. Love y'all. Be blessed. Be encouraged. I got to go deal with this woman here. We got some stuff we need to straighten out.